Major League Baseball is making some major rule changes here in 2023, and maybe none bigger than the new pitch timer that will be in every Major League game. Fans want shorter games, they want more action, and Major League Baseball agrees. They realize that the average ideal game time is 2 hours and 30 minutes. That rolls us right back to the 1950s and 60s when games averaged about that time. Unfortunately, last year in 2022, the average Major League game was 3 hours and 7 minutes. So how do you get there? Well, maybe a pitch timer will work. On local games broadcasted by your local regional network is the 2-minute break between innings. Add to that 15 seconds, that's what a pitcher has to get ready and deliver the ball to the plate. Between batters, it's 30 seconds. Still time for some walk-up music. And between pitches, with bases empty, the pitcher has 15 seconds to deliver the ball and 20 seconds with runners on base. Now, the umpires will control the timer. They'll work with a field timing coordinator who's an employee of Major League Baseball up in the press box level with a timing device. And the umpire will give him directions to start the clock, reset the clock, and so on. There'll be 5 clocks in every Major League ballpark. There'll be 2 in the outfield area just off the center field, and there'll be 3 behind home plate, 2 at ground level, 1 up right behind home plate around the press box level. The decision of the umpires for a pitch clock violation is final. There's no replay review, and if you argue it as a manager, coach, or player, grounds for possible ejection. So the pitcher's main requirement is to start his delivery before the timer reaches 0. And at that point, when he starts his delivery, the clock goes blank and play resumes. Out of the full windup, it goes like this. When that pitcher steps back or laterally with his non-pivot foot, right there, that stops the clock and play gets underway. If a pitcher is in the set position, it's when after he comes to a complete stop and then he lifts his non-pivot leg, that'll stop the clock. Right there. And the penalty is an automatic ball. So the batter has requirements too. The batter must be in the batter's box and alert to the pitcher when the pitch clock reaches 8. Alert means eyes on the pitcher, both feet in the batter's box. Now the batter will receive 1 timeout per plate appearance. So if the batter steps out of the box with 8 seconds or less and he's already used his timeout, that's a violation. And the penalty for a violation is an automatic strike on the batter. It could be strike 3. A catcher has requirements too, but this one's going to be rare. The catcher must be in the catcher's box with at least 9 seconds remaining on the clock. He does not have to be in his squat, and he can be standing upright. The catcher's box, by the way, is that rectangle behind home plate. You see the catcher in that in this photo. So when does the timer start? Well, if the ball is alive and in play, it starts when the pitcher receives the ball, the batter and catcher are in the dirt circle. If it's a dead ball situation or the umpire calls time, the pitcher has the ball on the mound, the batter and the catcher are in the dirt circle, defenders are in position, the runners return to their previously occupied bases, and play is ready to resume. When does the timer start between batters? Well, it happens when the umpire signals safe or out and the play has concluded. Take a ground ball to the shortstop. Fields the ball, throws the first, umpire makes the call out. That's when the timer is reset. If there's no one on base, it's reset to 15 seconds. Now, there are special circumstances where there's going to be delay of the timer. If a ball's caught in the outfield, when the ball gets returned to the infield, that's when the timer starts. Say a batter hits a double and he's standing on second base and he's got to take off his protective equipment like his ankle protection or his elbow protection, and he has to hand that off to the coach or the bat boy. That will be an exception where the umpire will delay the start of the timer. Between innings, the umpire will signal the field timing coordinator when to start the timer, because he's always got to be aware of a possible replay review. And by the way, that rule has changed a little bit too. Let's take a look at that. This year, the manager must notify an umpire immediately that his team is contemplating a challenge. He does this by holding his palm straight up in the air, showing it to the umpire. He's got to do this within 5 seconds. The manager then has 15 seconds to decide whether the challenge is going to happen or not. This really shortens the time. No longer are you going to see the umpire stroll over to the railing of the dugout, have a conversation with the manager while the video coordinator underneath the stadium decides whether the play is worth reviewing. This will really speed up that part of the game. So on a pitching change, the timer starts when the relief pitcher comes out of the bullpen and crosses the warning track. Now, there are some details that are worth taking a look at. The pitcher can request a new baseball as long as it's prior to 9 seconds on the clock. And here are some things that teams may try to do to delay the game, and umpires are going to be all on top of this. If a catcher delays throwing the ball back to the pitcher, or the pitcher walks off the mound to delay the timer, repeated requests for new baseballs, catcher giving defensive signals too late, the groundskeeper late getting off the field to help the home team, the relief pitcher delays coming out of the bullpen by taking a few extra throws. We've seen that a lot. And PitchCom, quote-unquote, malfunction. The PitchCom device is between catchers and pitchers, and they've gotten that to the point where it doesn't malfunction very much. So umpires are going to be alert to all these attempts to delay the game. Now, the umpire may signal to reset the clock under any special circumstances. A beach ball on the field, something weird happens, whatever. The umpires are always going to be in command of this, and they have the final say. So that's the 2023 Pitch Timer Review. Hope it helped you out. And if you need any more rules information, remember, Baseball Rules Academy is your #1 source for rules of the game.